Hey, what's up guys? Jack and Maddie with the Toasty Bros, and today we're checking out this really interesting modified Dell Optiplex that has an infinity display on the front, and it's sold from Newegg.
I was browsing on Newegg for some budget gaming PCs and stumbled across this beauty. Is it worth picking up? Well, we're about to find out, but first, a word from today's sponsor. Have you seen McAllister lately?
No, why?
He stopped editing videos.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds like it came from that dark closet over there. I'm gonna go look.
Oh, close the door, the light.
What are you doing in here? You haven't touched a video for a week.
I'm sorry, I started trying to gather B-roll for this Raid Shadow Legends ad and I got distracted.
How? How have you been playing that game for a week straight?
We see.
I got special access to the game through the link in our description below. It let me download Raid Shadow Legends, the greatest mobile game of all time, to my phone. Oh, and to my computer. I had no clue that was even an option. With over 600 champions, so many unique factions, and a world with its own rich history, I couldn't stop. I was hooked. And it was all going fine. I was winning quest after quest, and then the newest craziest boss of Raid showed up, the Hydra. I've spent the last week studying it so I can assemble the perfect team. It has multiple heads, each with their own power, like the Head of Suffering, which can link itself to one of my champions, making them share damage unless they bring another champion to get rid of the debuff. And if that's not enough, the Head of Mischief, which steals all my buffs and redirects my attacks to other heads so I can barely get to it. So needless to say, I couldn't stand up to him yet, so I went back to the drawing board, going back to leveling my champlings and tackling some dungeons to try to get stronger. Trying to prep for harder fights, arena battles, and the new faction Wars Crypt. Oh, and for the special fusion event, so I can try to get Raid's newest legendary champion. There's never been a better time to get started. Raid is offering a starter pack worth almost $30 to kickstart your game. A free champion, 200k silver, XP boost, energy refill, and an ancient shard. What more could you ask for? The rewards will show up in your inbox, so make sure to use our QR code and link in the description below. Once again, you can find me under the name on screen, and if you're fast, you can even join our clan.
Well, that's pretty convincing, but next time, let us join you.
Of course, but do you mind closing the door?
So I was browsing on Newegg for some interesting PCs to make content on, and we found this independent seller on Newegg selling this PC with this like infinity display on the front of the Dell Optiplex. David Does Tech Stuff actually made a video right after I purchased that, so shout out to him. I commented on that video. But yeah, it's a very interesting concept. Not really sure why they did something like this, but of course in Toasty Bros fashion, we wanted to pick it up and show you guys at home what it actually looks like in person. So just don't waste any more time and open it up.
All right, so it looks like the packaging's really good on this. They put that it's a refurb, so just a heads up, you know, this Optiplex from 10 years ago is a refurb. But so obviously one of the things you gotta keep in mind with this being sold, you know, from Newegg, a lot of people think like, oh, Newegg themselves sell it. Well, that's not how it works. Newegg and Amazon and eBay, they kind of all go hand in hand, and you're probably like, well, how's that? Well, individual sellers can sell stuff on those sites. Like, I could go sell cell phones used on Amazon or Newegg right now. So keep that in mind whenever you're browsing Newegg. There are seller ratings, just like eBay, so you can see how good people are. Typically, when you do private sales on these websites, they usually have really low ratings. And a lot of times it's because they're scalpers and they sell graphics cards and, you know, processors and stuff like that at an overmarked price. So typically their ratings gonna be really low. So, you know, don't always knock it till you try it, I guess. I don't really know how this guy was. I don't know if you happen to look at his ratings or
I think it was decent. It was like one of those like refurbishing companies that just takes like office computers, refurbish them, and apparently makes an infinity display.
I like how it's just covered. We'll get to that in a second. We got to see what we got for the keyboard and mouse. So I have not seen one like this. This is the TJ3100F from, you know,
from TJ.
From TJ Maxx.
From TJ Maxx, yes.
But it looks like it's like chiclet style, like a laptop basically.
It's got RGB or something like that. It does
have some type of backlighting. I mean, props to them for that. It looks like we have a USB Wi-Fi adapter. Look at that. I think that's for the infinity display. All right, we got to see this. Because yeah, this might be in the next keyboard roundup, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's actually kind of cool looking. Yeah, I mean, definitely membrane, but they look cool. It's interesting. They're definitely low profile. And it looks like for the mouse, we have a Game-A-Nite. It's a Game-A-Nite mouse. All right, let's open that up and see what we got. You know what, I'm just gonna open from the bottom.
It doesn't deserve a proper opening.
It doesn't deserve a proper opening. This isn't a mouse roundup. It does look gamery though. Ooh. Wait, have it.
Wait.
Hold up.
It's Have It branding? Hold the.
I bet this has to be like a refurb or something, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
It looks used, like it's not bad. I mean, it looks like they did a pretty good job at cleaning it up if it is used, but I mean, it definitely has marks on it. There's no plastics or anything. There's not even plastics covering the feet, so.
We're getting used Have It mice.
I'm assuming it was used. This is a nice mouse though. I kind of like the feel of it. I haven't actually seen that specific Havoc one, even though we check it out all the time. power cord, that's essential. So like we said, keyboard, mouse, they're gamer. I mean, to an extent, we have a remote for the actual PC, a Wi-Fi adapter, and the power adapter. And then we have like some customer support stuff. Tell us to leave them some 5-star ratings, you know,
Heck
of course. Yeah. But I know what you guys came here for. Let's just go ahead and just peel this and see what we got.
Okay, so we have more peel.
Oh, so, okay, I think I see how they did this and made it look kind of clean. They took out, so there used to be two 5.25-inch bays here for DVD drives. And I guess somehow they found a company that makes these displays. Well, actually, I mean, obviously, we gotta see how this works. Yeah. So, of course, we will open this up and see what we got going on here. But this is supposed to have an i5
of some kind.
And a GT 1030. Yeah, we don't know what kind yet because, it's a 7010, so it should be 3rd gen. Yes. I think 3rd or 4th gen i5. It actually looks like we have 4 sticks of RAM, and it should be
16 gigs.
Oh, is it 60? Oh, 4 gigs, and they're all crucial. They're actually all, except for one. They were all matching crucial, but there was one in the back that's a random brand. But yeah, 4 gig sticks apiece. We actually have a standard GT 1030 that is a full-size bracket on there, and it has usually display port. No, it's HDMI and DVI. Interesting. It looks like we have a standard Dell power supply, so they didn't swap that out. Standard cooler. We do have our SSD here, which is actually mounted. It's supposed to be a, is it 500 gig SSD?
I think it's a 240 gig with a 500 gig hard drive.
It's a 3D NAND drive, so it's just a standard, you know, SSD, nothing fancy there. It looks like, it looks like it says Baja.
Baja?
I don't even want to open it, man. But yeah, it looks like we do have a standard Western Digital Blue drive that has a refurb sticker on it. I think we should see what actual CPU we have and how the thermal paste application is, see if they actually clean that up, because, you know, a lot of time these companies just literally take these PCs, refurb them real quick, and then they just ship them out. So we're gonna open this up and see what we got going on here. Kinda gotta pull the cooler with it. It scares me though. Okay, there we go. All right, that wasn't too bad. Definitely not any thermal paste. So we're gonna grab a couple of alcohol swabs and we're gonna see exactly what we have here and go ahead and reapply some paste, because that'll definitely help these performance numbers. Having old thermal paste like this will definitely hurt you, because your CPU is gonna thermal throttle and be like, help me, help me. And it looks like we have a 3470.
Yep.
All right, not bad. Can't complain about that. Nice 3rd gen, which a big difference of 2nd gen to 3rd gen, because you'll notice it in the price. You're probably like, oh, you know, if you look at the performance difference, almost none. I mean, it's very small, just a slight increase in the frequency, but it's still just a 4-core, 4-thread. They have USB 3 typically, so this one does. If you look on the back there, the ones that say SS for supersonic speed is USB 3. So that's basically the main advantage you get with having one of these newer Optiplexes. They also support like bigger SSDs. Oftentimes, I think they started adding M.2s to like a generation after this too, so, you know, that doesn't really benefit you much, but we're gonna add some good old thermal paste here. I need to grab everything in one run, you know.
Some good old toasty goop.
I'm making runs, dude. And you know what we're adding?
Oh.
Some MX5. We gotta give this thing the absolute best case scenario for that performance.
Hey Arctic, if you're watching, we'd gladly take some
We really
more.
do need some more this week, please.
Please.
I don't know who from Arctic would be watching this. I'm sorry if you are, but yeah, we definitely like some MX5 and, you know, just other high-end thermal paste for doing tests like these, because you definitely want to have the best case, you know, use case at this. You don't want to let the processor die early.
I like to think there's a job at every PC company to just watch the Toasty Bros and make sure they're.
I would like to think that too. You know. All right, let's get the cooler back on. But yeah, I think we need to load some games onto this and see how it does. I mean, we've done this test about 1,000 times. I mean, it's an i5 that's 6th gen or older with a GT 1030. So you guys probably have a general idea on how it's going to perform. We do have 16 gigs of RAM and it's 4 sticks. That definitely helps, and an SSD. So I think this is probably about the best, you know, case scenario you can get with one of these old Optiplexes, besides literally just adding an i7. This could take up to a, I think 3rd or 4th gen i7. I know 3rd gen at least.
Yes, 3rd
so
gen.
That's definitely nice.
We also have an infinity display.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, I forgot that was the thing.
That's the feature.
Dude, I've done so many Optiplexes that it just felt like a normal Optiplex. So we gotta see how that works too.
Oh boy, look at that. Oh, we had the, you know, the pre-power on.
The blue screen of death, dude.
Yeah. All right, so
let's go ahead and open that up. I mean, dude, that's an infinity display.
I mean, it's infinity.
And beyond. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, look what they.
Oh, they put RGB up front too. What is that?
There's an RGB strip. Look where they left the Here's a zip tie holding it on.
Oh, nice.
I can't even be mad. Like, they just did such a good job of this. So let's see if we can, without breaking anything, hopefully
figure out how this works.
Yeah. So we just have a, what is that, SATA? Yeah, it looks like, oh, they actually spliced it in the wires. Wow. So that's dedication. They actually like soldered the actual board and cut the end of this SATA off to actually make this work. I don't know if that was easier than just getting a SATA adapter of some kind. But yeah, it's just literally a box with like an acrylic box with an RGB strip in it and a mirror that basically causes it to look like it's going on forever. And then they added this little baby RGB strip in the front. That's probably why they soldered it, because they have all these things and they want to just have it all in one hub. But man, they did a really good job. Like I cannot hate on this. Obviously, I can't say that every single one will show up just like ours did, like working great. But then again, though, we haven't tested it in gaming yet. We haven't even made sure that it, has Windows and all that on it.
It still looks goofy though, but it's cool at the same time. I mean, it's a good use of a drive bay that nobody's really gonna use anymore. So that's really cool. But yeah, now that we've seen what this RGB looks like, let's just test it in some games. All right, guys, now that we have this $450 PC from Newegg all booted up and ready to go, let's talk about a couple benchmarks real quick. Now, we decided to test this PC and a couple of esports titles, those being Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Rainbow Six Siege, here on Fortnite at 1080p on Pro settings, because I wanted to try something a little bit different. Performance mode has been causing a lot of stuttering in even the lowest end systems that I've been testing and some higher end systems, so I just want to go back to good old epic view distance, everything else on low, and we averaged about 60 FPS at 1080p full render res. Now, I did decide to drop it down to 75% render res just to try to see what kind of frame rate we can get, and at 75% resolution scale, we did get a more constant 60 plus FPS experience. This is exactly what we expect with the GT 1030 i5 3470 system. It's just going to play esports titles 60 FPS and have a pretty decent gaming experience. Next up in Apex Legends, a game that is more graphically demanding and would push this GT 1030 to its limits. We had to drop this down to 720p to get a good gaming experience, and we averaged about 70 to 80 FPS. I think this PC is perfectly adequate for 720p gaming. 720p gaming isn't the greatest thing in the world, but if you can manage to snag an older office monitor and run at a lower resolution native on an older monitor, it doesn't look half bad, and you can get into PC gaming on a budget with room for upgrades in the future. Now, some of you might be asking which version of the GT 1030 we have. We do not have the GDDR4 version for those who were thinking that we got a really low-end GT 1030. This is the standard GT 1030 with 2 gigs of VRAM that'll have no problems playing pretty much any esports titles, as you can see from this benchmark run. And the last game we tested was Rainbow Six Siege with the built-in benchmark at 1080p, and we ended up averaging around 61 FPS. There were dips below 60 when actually playing the game, so if you do want to get a constant 60 FPS, you're probably looking at 720p again, but just for ease of use, we decided to test this at 1080p to see the best case scenario for 1080p performance, and getting about 60 FPS with dips below is not a great experience for Rainbow Six Siege, especially with those fast response times required to have a good experience. So I do highly recommend you go ahead and drop that down to 1600 by 900 or 720p if you plan on playing this game competitively. So overall, the performance is what we expect, a 1030 with an i5. The main reason we got this PC is because of that ridiculous infinity mirror display and RGB added to it. It's just a really souped up Optiplex that is kind of interesting and really made for a fun video just to see what kind of stuff people are doing to make their Optiplexes more appealing to the average consumer. So if you want to pick this thing up, link in the description down below, be an affiliate link, and it will help us out. How would I bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick?
All right, guys, so we just got finished testing out this beautiful Dell Optiplex, and honestly, this really does get the Toasty Bro seal of approval. They just did a really good job including the gaming peripherals, the Wi-Fi, and honestly, this is just a really cool mod that really brings this thing to life. You're not ever gonna see anything else like this. It really lights up the runway, so that's just absolutely amazing.
If this was just a normal Dell Optiplex without this cool mod, I'd probably be like, it's not that great of a deal, but it is a pretty unique piece, and you can upgrade these things down the road with a better graphics card, a slightly better CPU in the future. So if you want to consider picking one of these things up, links in the description down below, be affiliate links, and they will help us out. Browse on Newegg because they have a couple of different sellers with different spec versions of this, but this seemed to be the best deal, and at the time of recording this, it's actually $25 cheaper than when we bought it. So hey, maybe it'll be that time when we actually release a video, but who knows? Check the links down below.
We'll also leave some affiliate links down below. If you can't find this one on Newegg or you don't want to spend extra money and you want to try to build one of these a lot cheaper, check out those eBay affiliate links and they will help us out. So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If if you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. And not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
And hey, if you want to buy this PC at a discounted price cheaper than Newegg, you should check out our PC selling business.
PCBros.tech is where we sell PCs featured on the channel, along with build some custom one-off PCs that are only sold over on PCBros.tech. Come to our store, buy online. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Boom.